We are in Istanbul at the World Footwear Congress, and I have with me Bşk.Sn from TAST. Thanks for being with me today.
Thank you.
Because we are in Istanbul, my first question to you is, what can you tell us about the Turkish footwear industry? How is the year so far, and what are your expectations for the end of the year?
Thank you for coming, and thank you for the intervention also. Year 2022 was actually quite good year for the Turkish footwear industry. We closed the year with 1.3 billion US dollars of exportation. Our production capacity is 582 million pairs, and out of this 582 million pairs, 65% of this quantity was exported to the foreign markets, which is equal to 380 million pairs or something like this. So 2022 was quite good year, but starting from the last quarter of the last year, we started to see that the global economy is changing. We started to feel that there is a recession and slowing down in the major markets like United States and Europe. That's why, starting from the last quarter of the 2022 and this year, we observed that the exportation is going stable. The figures are flat. In terms of quantities, we are decreasing, but in terms of value, we are still 1% or 2% above our last year's figures.
In the last 3 years, a lot has been happening. We had a pandemic, all the consequences of that, such as the impact on the supply chain, transport disruption, and after that, we were impacted by the cost of living crisis. Now we have war in Europe. What would you say are the impacts of these in our industry? And do you think we can continue doing businesses the same way we used to do 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Yeah, as you mentioned, pandemic has changed a lot in many industries, not only in the footwear industry, but in many industries has a changed way of doing their ways and businesses. So after the pandemic, actually, I have to say that due to the breaking down of the supply chain, especially from the Asian countries to Europe, has broken down. So Turkey has benefited from this disruption, actually. I have to say that many organizations, many brands, many global chains started buying from Turkey, from near locations, because companies didn't want to put all the eggs in the same basket. That's why last 2 years we observed a big demand from the Turkish footwear industry. But as you mentioned, the war between Russia and Ukraine, also the war situation now in the Middle East is affecting our way of doing business. We hope that, as I also mentioned in our opening speech of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of Turkey, mentioned that peace at home, peace in the world. I hope that these wars come to a final situation, and our businesses will benefit from the next coming days. But our expectation is until 2024, at the end of 2024, we are expecting a better days for our industry.
And one of the topics that's been on the agenda during the Congress was sustainability. It has been on the agenda of all of us for many years now. My question would be, do you think this is still being driven by the final consumer, or do you think that companies and industries are already totally aligned with sustainability and working on that?
I have to say that the awareness also in the Turkish industry is getting bigger and bigger every day. If we were speaking about this several years ago, nobody was having too much awareness about this situation. But starting feeling the climate change, especially the droughts, floods, industrial wastes, people started to feel that they have to do something for the planet. and mostly the consumers are demanding and consumers are asking, especially now in Turkey, sustainable products or products that make sense for the planet. So I think that it is no longer a fashion. Sustainability is no longer a fashion. And due to the international agreements like the Paris Protocols, Kyoto Protocols, the industries are going to change, and to lower the carbon emission, people started to do something also very seriously now. And I hope this trend will continue in the future.
Another topic under discussion was related to technology, to innovation. How do you think these elements of technology and innovation can help the industry to be more sustainable, and how do you think this can help us to achieve a circular economy?
Especially in the opening keynote speaker, Mr. Matthew Griffin gave us a lot of vision about new technologies and how these new technologies are going to affect the footwear businesses, and especially the robotics, especially the 3D printed shoes, totally made shoes, and also biodegradable materials, especially the cellular, which he calls cellular leathers, which are consuming less water, even zero water, which can be produced in our offices maybe. We can produce in the future. I don't know if it's going to be in the short time of a period, but we think that upcoming years, with the help of the technology, our material development will evolve a lot, which will help both the sustainability and less consuming, less giving harm to the planet would be, I think, possible.
The theme of this Congress was reshaping the future. You already mentioned a couple of things that were discussed during these 2 days. But in a nutshell, what do you think were the key takeaways of the discussions? What can we take from this Congress that will help us to work towards the future for the footwear industry?
Well, actually, since now we had 5 sessions, including today, and we had really very charming people, and we have really very privileged speakers, panelists, and moderators, especially the opening speech, Mr. Matthew Griffin's vision affected many industry people, I suppose, especially when I speak with my Turkish colleagues, that they were very impressed with the technological developments which we are going to face maybe in the near future. So the robotics side, the robotic workers side took too much interest, especially from our industry, because footwear industry is labor-intensive sector. So we all suffer from qualified worker. That's why the robotics in the footwear industry is taking too much interest from other industry persons. So from our perspective, that as far as since now we follow the technological developments, the new way of doing businesses like 3D prints, and also the approach of producing inside, I mean not carrying the products from long distances, which will also lower the transport costs, also lower the carbon emission of the transportations, and producing domestically will also create new jobs in the European level. So we think that, of course, this future is not coming in one day, but we have to be aware of these technological developments. I think that the future of the footwear industry is going to be better than in the past, I think.
Thank you very much, Berke.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
These were some insights from Turkey and from the latest edition of the World Footwear Congress. Continue to follow the World Footwear for more updates.